A slow D&D game might be a good idea once in a while, but is it? I'm going to talk about that right now. I ran my weekly We Out Here game last night, and things didn't really go the way I thought they might, which is cool. I mean, it's D&D after all, it's bound to do that. And I'm kind of reflecting on what happened and sort of had an interesting thought because I was nervous at the end of the session. I felt like, wow, that was kind of slow. It didn't really go the way I thought it would. And I was nervous and afraid on some level that maybe everybody didn't have a good time, and maybe that was a crappy session, and maybe I'm a terrible DM, and maybe, and I was just, I was having all these like not happy thoughts, and at the same time I was like, well, wait a minute though, I felt pretty good. I enjoyed the session. It was, again, it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, but that doesn't matter. It was still engaging, and there were some interesting moments, and here's what I came away from it feeling last night, and also like my thoughts today as I'm kind of reflecting on how the game went yesterday. I'm coming away with this as if, in a sense, this session was all about the setup. That was like, we're setting up for something big. In fact, at the end of the session, myself and the players, as we're talking, they were saying to me, I was like, gosh, I hope that wasn't too slow for you guys and that kind of thing. We got a lot done, but it might not feel like it. And we're sort of setting the stage. But even before I was sort of explaining any of that, they were already like, oh my gosh, next session's probably all hell's gonna break loose. And it kind of left me today with this feeling of like, maybe that's a good thing. Like, maybe it's okay to not have a session every week that's like high stakes and high energy and like all kinds of craziness is happening. Maybe it's good to have a session where things are sort of slow and relaxed and you're just gently and gradually building some tension, because then when that session does come where the dam breaks or where things come to a head and maybe it hinges on a die roll, but when that happens, once that that die is rolled, and I gotta give a shout out to Matthew Bartlett, Art of Bartlett. I love this shirt. It's just such a great thought. But the reality is, somebody could roll a 1 at the exact wrong time, and everything can go to crap. Everything can go to hell, and all bets off, and it completely changes the dynamic of what's happening. So they've been doing a lot of like sort of espionage kind of stuff like this. It feels like we're almost like in a spy mission or something, which is cool. But the pacing is slower, and the energy is slower, and the energy is more, or the feel of the game, the kind of the feel of the session was more relaxed and more thoughtful, and it was so interesting to me. It was so different than most sessions I've played in, and so cool at the same time. And I feel like there's something to be said about this. There's something to be said about like the slow burn, about the slow buildup that could then potentially lead to a session that is just like, mind-blowing, all kind, everything's happening at once, or, everything comes to a head, and there's this like intense kind of pressure relief where everything goes off, and you have a wild session of whether it's combat or role-playing or whatever, and everything just goes like, ah, and comes out at the table. And I think that's kind of cool. I mean, there's definitely something to be said about explosions of fun. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that anymore because I've already gone too far off the deep end with this. Watch me as I turn red and get a little embarrassed because I make a silly joke. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. The bottom line is I'm really coming to terms as a DM with the reality that it's good to vary the tone and the pacing from session to session. It is a good idea to have some sessions that are a little slower and calmer and maybe not the high stakes, explosive, like intense combat driven mania every single week. I think having a little bit of a swing of the pendulum from super intense to sort of relaxed, and back to intense, and back to relaxed. I think there's something good to be said about that from one week to the next, or from one game to the next in your D&D games. I am definitely gonna pay more attention to this, to the kind of the broader rhythms of the game. It can happen within a session, from the beginning of the session to the end of the session as well. And I feel like it's going to really benefit me as a DM to be okay with having a slow session now and again. And this is why. This is why the build-up will make the ultimate resolution that much more rewarding for everyone. For me, the DM, for the players, for everyone at the table. It will make that resolution way more excellent, delicious, exciting, important, meaningful, and so on. And wow, that's what I'm just looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to every game I play, of course. And yeah, tonight is no exception. We're playing Dragon of Icespear Peak, so I hope you'll come and check it out. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll have a recap, of course, of the game, and keep rolling 20s. I hope I roll lots tonight. And remember, it's your game, so take it slow and play your way.